A severe thunderstorm rips through our area, possibly spawning a tornado. Here's a look at just some of the damage we're seeing tonight, and we'll show you a lot more coming up on the Night Beat.
You're watching WPDE News Channel 15's Night Beat with Keith Sterling and Allyson Floyd. And now, the Grand Strand and PD's #1 source for local news, WPDE News Channel 15.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for News Channel 15's Night Beat tonight. I'm Keith Sterling.
And I'm Allyson Floyd.
Some special circumstances to explain to you tonight, folks. As you can see, our set looks a little different tonight. We've had a severe weather come through the area tonight, through the PD, moving its way toward the Grand Strand. Severe wind and rain, reports of hail in the area. We have a lot of pictures to show you coming up. And Ed Piotrowski, of course, tracking things from the pavilion. Do we have Ed at this point?
Yes, we do. Let's go to Ed now for the latest on what's... Oh, we don't have Ed yet.
We don't have
We're
Ed.
going to go to Ed in just a moment. But we do have a lot of pictures, had crews out all night. We've had reports from law enforcement of a possible tornado touchdown in downtown Florence. So let's check in now with Ed for the very latest on what's going on. Ed?
All right, thank you guys very much. Let's take a look at the latest Doppler 15 images here, and you can see that we still have some scattered showers and heavy thunderstorms moving through the area. The worst of the severe weather is over with as we see it now. The storms you see on radar are still capable of producing some some significant hail, also the possibility of actually some strong winds and certainly some very heavy rainfall and a tremendous amount of lightning. What we're going to do is freeze this picture on the last one, and we're going to kind of move around the area to show you where these storms are. We'll begin along the Grand Strand. Heaviest of the storms appear to be on the north end of the Strand here, from about North Myrtle Beach and Briarcliff northward and westward from Little River and Calabash. What we'll do is zoom in just a little bit closer here down to the street level to show you what's happening in some of these smaller towns. In North Myrtle Beach and Briarcliff, moderate to occasionally heavy rainfall, and you can see here some of the roads we have here. Highway 17, we've got Havens Drive, also Birchwood Street, and some other streets to name here. Let's see what comes up on the screen. Surf Street and several others, Bell Drive. All of those locations along the northern parts of the Grand Strand are seeing light to moderate, occasionally even heavy rain back out to the west of there. Let's move over just a little bit to some more clusters of storms that are now located over the northern parts of the PD, especially along the border belt. Marietta, Lakeview, some very heavy showers and thunderstorms right now, and some of these are capable of producing hail. What we'll do is zoom in a little bit into Lakeview, and you can see the small town of Lakeview here, some very, very heavy rainfall. How about a few streets for you? Kemper Street, very, very heavy rainfall as well. And for the most part, our storm table is indicating that we do have the possibility of some small hail coming out of some of these thunderstorms. Let's take a little bit further south for you now. We'll head into northern parts of Williamsburg County and extreme southern parts of Florence County, also Marion County and northern parts of Georgetown County. A very heavy thunderstorm in the northwestern corner of Georgetown County. This one, too, is capable of producing hail and also some very, very gusty winds. This particular storm, what we'll do is try to storm track it for you here, is generally moving to the east at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. So that current motion should take it over southern parts of Horry County here, Bucksport and Socastee within the next hour or so, and eventually toward the Grand Strand in an hour to an hour and a half after that. And again, heavy rainfall and the possibility of small hail and gusty winds likely with these storms as they move to the east. Now let's zoom back out one more time. There obviously was a tremendous amount of damage in parts of Florence County during the course of the evening hours. What we're going to do is zoom down to the street level here so that we can actually show you what was happening in Florence County. If we can get down there, we'll do that for you in just a second here, but you can see there is still quite a bit of shower and thunderstorm activity around our area. And I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead and manually zoom into Florence County and show you what's happening right here. At this hour, most of the rain is certainly well to your south and east in Florence County. That is certainly good news. There's still some moderate rain, especially on the south side of town. I'll tell you what, we're going even closer here to the street level and show you exactly what's happening down within a couple of miles of downtown Florence. And you'll see here as it pops up that there is still some rainfall, especially on the southern side of the city. And where the tornado may have touched down earlier this evening is right around South Coit and, of course, West Pine. Let's see if we can find that for you. It's a little difficult in here, but we'll see if we can do it for you. There's South McQueen, so I think I'm actually got to go a little bit further west of town here. Well, it's generally in this area. We'll just tell you that. And that's where the possible tornado may have touched down. There's South Coit Street for you. And we have several people that say they may have seen a tornado. We have no confirmation of that as of yet, but in all likelihood, based on what we saw on Doppler radar, that we very well could have had a severe thunderstorm that did produce a tornado briefly in eastern parts of Florence County. So at this hour, the main news is that most of the severe weather is over with. Still quite a bit of heavy rainfall out there, and also the possibility of some small hail and very gusty winds as these storms continue to move on out to the east. You folks in Darlington, Marlboro, Scotland, Richmond, Chesterfield, Lee, Sumter, Clarendon County, you're completely in the clear, really, from, say, Lakeview to Mullins, down toward northern parts of Georgetown County and down towards Georgetown itself. Points east of there, still a bit under the gun, but mainly from heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and that possibility of small hail and gusty winds. So Keith and Allyson, that's where we stand right now. Back to you.
All right, Ed, thank you very much
Ed.
for the latest. We do want Earl Phelps, by the way, with us, was out in the storm. He's going to tell us about his experience in a moment. But first, we do want to point out, we just got off the phone with emergency preparedness in Florence County. They tell us, very important to point out, no reports right now of any injuries.
Which is certainly good news.
Yeah, from the severe weather that came in the air. Mostly down trees, many on houses, and of course, Earl, as he's going to talk about, some of the hail that hit the car you were in, right?
Yeah, you were out on a story when this thing hit.
And we were caught right smack in the middle of this stuff, whatever it was. It was definitely strong winds and some hail and a lot of rain. We were in the parking lot of a local restaurant trying to get some interviews for another story. When the winds began to pick up, I took cover under an SUV.
Yeah.
Then after that, we got into our car for additional cover. But what happened is the hail started coming down so hard, golf ball size hail, that it smashed out our back window. So we were basically helpless.
There's the video right there.
Video of the back
It
of the
started
window of
with
the
one
car.
small hole
Look at that.
and smashed the entire thing out eventually. And the wind began to pick up so much and got so strong that we actually wanted to take cover. So we had to get out of there, and we ran inside of the restaurant to take cover, and the restaurant was without power, and everybody in there were just sitting around, looking around and outside, and very afraid to get out and get in their cars.
I was going to say, did it take a lot of people by surprise? Did you see people running inside for cover when this?
Definitely. It took everybody. It took us by surprise, definitely. And it's been maybe, I'd say, an hour or more since the storm hit. But I don't know if you can tell, but I'm still soaking wet.
Yeah.
Just from my little
Very
run
heavy
from the
rain.
parking lot
Yeah.
to the into the restaurant. And a lot of people were caught by surprise, and other cars were damaged as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, just like our news vehicle, we've had a lot of reports of and we've had reports of good-sized hail, I think 3 to 4 inch hail.
Right.
Of course, that will damage a car. And we also have had reports of Westchester Apartments in Florence, several windows blown out there. So
Yeah.
good bit of damage
A
from
lot
that.
of trees down as
Yeah.
well, the power lines as well.
Right.
So it's very dangerous. If you don't have to be out there, don't get out
Yeah.
there. Let me tell you.
We're glad you're doing all right.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Thanks, Earl.
I was also out in the storm right
Yeah.
after the storm, actually. I want to have some video to show you from Second Loop and Cashua Drive in Florence. Some amazing pictures. Take a look. This is Second Loop and Cashua Drive in Florence. If you can see it, a sea of darkness in the city tonight after severe weather moves through. You were outside during the hailstorm.
Yeah, I went out here. I got hit about 7 or 8 times, you know. We picked up some of that hailstone as big as golf balls.
You lived here all your life? You ever seen anything like this?
Not like this, no. And I've been here for over 40 years.
Here at the Exxon station on the corner of Second Loop and Cashua, the awning over the gas pumps nearly collapses on Febit Dorsey.
So I pulled in here, and I pulled right in on this side because everything else was kind of crowded. And then, you know, you can kind of get those nerves that you think something getting ready to happen. So I backed up and moved over here. And as soon as I did that, this came down. So luckily, I moved at the right time, else my car would have been up under there.
Just a few feet away, Lacey Alford acted quickly to secure the doors of the Exxon's convenience store.
Yes, I was inside, and it was a lot of wind, and lights went out. We went to the doors to lock the doors, and that's when I saw all that just collapse.
I'd say it's amazing. It, you know, completely caught everyone off
Yeah.
guard, and we went out there to take a look at the damage. A lot of people just simply in shock. I mean, their cars, you saw the windows smashed in, and a business, you know, falling apart. So people dealing with it as best they can. And probably the most dangerous part, a lot of the traffic lights in the city of Florence are out.
Yeah, we've had a lot of reports of people. As a matter of fact, several of our news crew members have been out and talked about you get up to an intersection and there is no traffic light there. People don't know who's going to go next.
Right.
And I know CP&L's out working. We're going to check in with them in just a moment.
Yep.
But we do have some other pictures we want to show you of a business in Florence that had its entire roof blown off. It's the Jiffy Lube. The storm hit the Jiffy Lube on Evans Street and knocked off the roof. The debris from the building has cluttered the street as the manager arrived.
I'm at home just kind of watching TV, and all of a sudden all the lights went out and kind of heard all the hail, and about that time I figured I'd probably better try and make my way up here, which wasn't very, rather easy, but did make it up here and find out that the roof of my building is gone, so I'm just kind of here assessing some damage.